Hello everyone and welcome to my video on the Heigan dance. I'm going to be teaching you how to shuck and jive like a coked out white boy on the dance floor, okay? It's genuinely pretty difficult to do. I have my lovely assistant here, Armorfield, who's just got me on follow to kind of simulate what Heigan's going to be doing as I move. But yeah, I'm going to be leading this lovely dance. So I'm going to cover both the slow dance and the fast dance. The slow dance for the tank is probably the trickiest. The fast dance is, in my opinion, pretty easy, but it's important that you kind of have things in your brain prepared. So on the pull, immediately on the pull, my recommendation is, as a tank, you want to be the first one in. You want to run directly to the boss and pretty much meet him about here and actually sink in some actual threat abilities, right? You want to be pressing your maul, your shield slam, your concussive blow, all that sort of stuff. Use your abilities, put them on cooldown, actually get on the threat table. Don't let some random dude who got a buff or got some random mana regeneration generate threat on the boss and run and do something crazy over here. So actually just directly run to and meet the boss and sink in your threat abilities. There's actually quite a generous early timer before the first mana burn goes out. So it doesn't, and the first eruptions come out. So it doesn't need to be in a good position to start with. You just need to meet the boss and actually hit the fucking thing. All right. And now we start several of the positions that we need to keep in mind. So what we want is we want to look on the floor, look at a very specific position, and be like, that's where we want to put the boss. So here, we've got 3 cracks. They all intersect. I call this the intersection, right? There's a 3 crack intersection here. And then this one that's furthest away, right in the center here, that's pretty much where we want the boss. So I'm going to run a bit further than that, but I'm aiming to put the boss there. And this following that's got going on right now, this follow is more aggressive than the boss will be. The boss will have a larger hitbox. It has a larger melee range. It will stop earlier when it's in melee range to start hitting me. But this guy will follow me pretty tightly. So you might need to go further out, or this following guy might chase me further than the actual boss will. But it serves to illustrate the point. The point is, I'm trying to get the boss standing around this general area. So I run here to kind of pull him. So I do the drag, and then I strafe around to get my back to the ranged. And he's not going to mana burn anybody here. To mana burn, he has to be pretty much standing on this intersection or a little bit further back. And, you know, he has to be standing about there or about there in position 2 and 3. But basically, the positions I'm taking him to, he will not mana burn ranged if they're at the back of this platform where they should be. And you'll absolutely be in healing range here. And you might even be in disease cleansing range, to be honest. But, you know, that's ambitious, and you can mostly have like the totems that are should be placed here handling that anyway. So the melee will be behind him, and the melee are not going to get hurt here. So that's our first of many positions. This northern part of what I call the intersection. All right. Next up, for position 2, we've got what I call the split. You've got a crack here and a crack here, and these cracks are almost touching. It's split. It's like it's split in half. Okay. So I go to like the northern edge of the split here to drag the boss around here. And then I just position myself with the back to the ranged once again. Right? And, you know, this works well. So that's the next position that you want to go to. The position after that I like to use, I just call it the T, because from this position it looks like a T. It's just here and then down here. And I want to drag the boss to the bottom of the T. So I'm going to run a bit further to drag it to the bottom of the T. Strafe around. Just like that. And then for the final position, we've got what I call the pocket. These two cracks are almost touching each other. They're very close. I basically want the boss to be standing in between these two cracks. That's pretty much where I want him to be. So I'm going to run over here. Cool. And then I'm tanking him. That's you followed me a bit deep. That doesn't really matter. That's fine. That'll do. It's okay if it's just a little bit off. As long as you're in that general area where you're aiming for, it's fine. And the thing is, guys, you got, how much is it? Like 20 seconds between eruptions? You got a long time. It's a slow dance. Be deliberate. If you're not entirely sure where to go the moment the eruption goes out, just calm down, breathe, look at the 4, find those frames of reference. So again, this is the T. It's all alone. It's isolated. This is the T. We're bringing it to the base of the T. I'm going to do it all at once. I'm going to do it fast now. I'm going to do it as fast as I can do it. So position the boss. Okay, next position is the split. We're taking it to the split. Okay, cool. Next position, it's over there. Yep. Drag it over. Cool. And back to the split. A little more. Drag it over. Back to the T. Let's take it to the T. So I'm doing this as fast as I can, but you can do this a lot slower, and it's fine. Go to the pocket. Here's the pocket. Drag it over. It's no problem, man. Like this is the slow dance, and if you do this right, I mean the melee positioning, because you're in line with the kind of AoEs, and you're not like, some people position it like this, and I hate this because it's like, maybe you're in the danger zone, right? If you ran too deep, maybe you're in the danger zone, like you risk crossing over into the next zone and getting hit by that eruption, or maybe the melee standing directly behind are in danger of getting hit by the eruption on the other side. So don't do this horizontal shit. Don't do this horizontal stuff. Don't tank it just like horizontally like this. You can do it if you're like super precise, but I find it's easier to do the drag then turn. You know, go to the frame of reference, get it there, drag it, turn it, done. Get it over here, drag it, turn it, done. So that's the slow dance. It's pretty simple. Well, I make it look easy, but maybe I've just done it too much. If you really want to get some practice, I recommend just coming here and just recognizing this, like when the lockout is empty, just come into the instance. There's no trash. There's nothing here. Just come into the instance and just practice running between these over and over again. And you can kind of pretend you have a mob following you and kind of adjust based on the fly. So the fast dance is the same thing, guys. We use the same frames of reference, and instead of trying to get the boss there, because you're not being chased by a boss, you just run directly there. So go to the split, stop, go to the T, bottom of the T, stop, go to the pocket, stop, go back to the T, stop, go to the split, stop, go to the intersection, stop, go back to the split, stop, go to the T, stop, go to the pocket, stop. If you want to make things a little easier, you can actually use frames of reference that are a little bit closer. Like, if you're exclusively ranged for this fight, you could probably go in the center of the intersection here, and then go here, and then go to this weird spot in between, and then go to here. And that's because it's closer to the platform, you have a little more like room. But yeah, when you go out wider like this to these positions that are really for the tank and the melee, you will have less like time between explosions because you're going further out and covering a little bit more distance. But it shouldn't really matter too much to just use the same frames of reference every time. So yeah, that's pretty much the dance. The only other thing about the dance is like the transition to the actual dance. So for ranged, they're chilling on the platform, they're minding their own business, and then they'll have like dancing starts DBM timer. Basically, you want to wait until it says about 6 seconds dancing starts, and then you just want to make a beeline for this intersection. That's how I do it. And if you're melee, it's kind of awkward because I believe you're at number 2, and then you have to go back to 1 to start the dance. But yeah, you just have to. Everybody's gonna say dancing is starting, so you're over here, you're DPSing the boss. Okay, cool. Go back to this intersection to start the dance, right? So that's my that's basically, you need to have this thing in your brain prepared. Don't just like wander around, don't just like panic, like be thinking, I need to run here, then I need to run here. And when you're at the spot that you're in, you need to be thinking like a step ahead. Because if you're not thinking a step ahead, you're just gonna panic and get blindsided, and it's no good. So yeah, now these aren't the only like frames of reference or positions you could stand in. There's a lot of space you could use. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. There's a lot of different positions people run to, but these are just the positions that work for me. You will not succeed at the fast dance. I promise you this. You will not succeed at the fast dance following someone else. Like just going wherever they go. No, there's too much lag involved in seeing where they ended up. And there's too much... And they might not even know what the fuck they're doing, to be honest, you know. I always do the dance as if nobody else... Dance as if no one else is watching. Dance as if no one else is there. That's my final piece of advice. Like, I have an internal clock set to this dance, and I don't care what any other player is doing. I will come to the end of the dance phase. I will stand in my final position, position 2, and I will be like, looks like 20 people died. I didn't really notice 20 people died. I wasn't really paying attention until the end of the phase. So yeah, that's my advice on Heigan. Remember those frames of reference. Come here when the instance is empty and practice if you really need to. And just don't die to the 100% avoidable damage, bozo. Alright?